Good evening and welcome to Centre Stage. My name is Laura.
And my name is Megan.
And today on Centre Stage we will be exploring and reminiscing the life of politician Aneurin Bevan and his wife Jennie Lee. We are joined by some special guests from the upcoming production of Nye and Jennie, which will be playing in the Abertillery Metropole Theatre between the 15th and 18th of November. We are joined by the actress playing Jennie Lee, Louise Collins, and the scriptwriter Meredith Barker.
Thank you very much for coming to visit us today.
Pleasure.
More from our guests later, but for now, let's go to our reporter, Harley Reynolds, to learn a little bit more about Aneurin Bevan and his wife, Jennie Lee.
Aneurin Bevan, or Nye Bevan as he became known, was born in Tredegar on the 15th of November 1897 as one of 10 children. He came from a coal mining family. Nye performed poorly at school, so at age 13 he began working underground at T-Twist Colliery, where Tredegar Comprehensive School now stands. At 19 he became head of the local miners' lodge, and later in 1919 he won a scholarship to go to university in London to study economics, history and politics. He became a renowned trade union activist and a well-known local orator. In 1928 he won a seat on Monmouthshire County Council and became the Labour MP for Ebbw Vale. His main goal was to increase unemployment benefits. In 1934 he met his wife Jennie. Janet Lee, more affectionately known as Jennie Lee, was born in Scotland November 1904. She too came from a coal mining family. She went to Beath High School and studied law at university. Jennie became an MP for Labour as the youngest member of the House of Commons. Aneurin continued to fight and preach for socialism with his wife, and their relationship was adored by the public and the other MPs. In 1945 he became the Minister of Health, and on the 5th of July 1948 he introduced his most famous accomplishment, the NHS. Sadly, on the 6th of July 1960, he died from stomach cancer in his home in Buckinghamshire. His widow, Jennie, went on to become the Minister of Arts from 1964 until 1970. She outlived her husband by 18 years and unfortunately died on the 16th of November 1988, but their legacy still lives on today.
Wow, thank you Harley for that enlightening video. Megan, can you believe that at just age 13 he dropped out of school but still managed to be one of the best politicians that Britain has ever seen?
I know, and how Jennie Lee became an MP before she was even old enough to vote. Obviously achieved so much in their careers, it's difficult to fit it all into one short film. Luckily with us today we have some of the cast and crew of the upcoming play Nye and Jennie, Louise and Meredith, who are going to be talking to us about it. Meredith, obviously Aneurin and Jennie Lee were two extremely successful politicians. Did you find it difficult to fit all of their achievements into one short amount of time?
I didn't even try because there just isn't enough time to do that. The important thing I felt was in the play that it was to make clear to everybody who comes to see it that they did achieve a tremendous amount, but that the audience are free and should be inspired enough to go and find out about them themselves after the show, which I think I really do hope everybody does. But to be able to fit everything in would mean that it wouldn't live at all.
Having starred in previous productions such as A Midsummer Night's Dream and Goodnight Mr. Tom, how different is it for you performing with only one other actor on the stage with you?
Well, at the moment we're in week 3 of rehearsals, so it doesn't really feel like there's just 2 of us in the room, because it's a collaborative process. We've got the director, we've got the lighting designer in the room, the writer, we've got the wonderful stage manager Sasha. So at the moment in the stage that we're at, it really does feel like a busy room, which I think we need at the moment. But interestingly enough, I think that reflects the play, because they were such public figures, that their lives were so busy with other people that the story we're telling is what they're like behind closed doors. So this week, as we go into technical rehearsals, the more the people step away and that we are left by ourselves, I think that will help with the story that we're telling.
How difficult is it for you to get into the role of Jennie Lee, considering there isn't as much information about her in the media as there is with Nye?
Well, The first thing, and I'm very grateful to the writer and director for trusting a girl from Bridgend to play this incredible Baroness from Fife. The first thing was she's Scottish. And I love the fact there's been artistic trust to hand that over to me. So the first thing I did, I went up to Scotland and I went to where she's from. And actually what I realised was the only difference from where Nye and Jennie are from is the fact that it's a different accent. Going to Cowdenbeath in Scotland was like being here in Ebbw Vale, Abertillery, Tredegar. So I feel that apart from her way in with her voice, that really their values were such the same that, reading about the two of them is my way in there.
Thank you. Thank you for your insight. Now let's go over to our roving reporter, Jess Harriman, in the Metropole Theatre, Abertillery.
I'm here at the Metropole Theatre in Abertillery, where the feature-in production Nye and Jennie will take place on November the 15th to the 18th. The play is a story of life, labour and love. Let's take a look inside. I'm here with the production manager, Geraint. So Geraint, how hard has it been to organise the whole theatre last minute?
Well, it's we're sort of down to the sort of last weeks now of prep, but before then there's been sort of weeks and months of prepping beforehand to get the set ready. We have initial meetings with designers. So Kitty, I don't know if you can see at the back there, that's Kitty, who's laying the floor at the moment. She's the designer of the set, so she and Gaynor, our artistic director and the director of the play, will have got together, come up with ideas, talk about ideas, and now we're laying the wooden floor and the back cloth and all the lighting and things like that. So, yeah, it's been good.
I never knew it was such a difficult process. Thank you for your time.
No problem at all.
I'm here at the back of the Metropole Theatre where the actors are currently rehearsing on stage. Here's the lighting booth at the back. Don't mind if I do. Maybe not for me. Let's go down to the dress room and see how the actors get ready. Oh, hi! I'm here in the dressing room in the Metropole Theatre in Abertillery, when on the 15th of November, actors Gareth Bale and Louise Collins will be getting ready for their opening night. Here is where my theatre tour ends. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you for that, Jess. Now let's look further into the production. So, Meredith, as the play has taken shape, have you had to adapt or change the script in any way for the actors' sake?
Yeah, there's always development for a script, and it develops up until the first night. The important thing for the writer is to trust the director and the actors to find those insights and those changes for themselves. I find, for me as a writer, I'll write something back home in Narberth on my own at my desk and think, oh, that will work. But it gets to the stage where you've got two brilliant actors and they can say everything that I want to say with just a glance. So it's important that the director and the actors have their say in how it changes. And I think that is the great joy of theatre, that you can actually go on a voyage of discovery and find different ways of saying these things that you want to say.
That's really interesting, thank you.
Louise, how did you hear about the production and what was it about the role of Jennie Lee that appealed to you?
Well, originally it was an audition, and it was around the time where we were building up to the election, and I found it so fascinating that there was a movement, I felt, with the youth of Britain getting inspired about voting, and I just thought about these two, Nye being 13 and Jennie Lee being only 27 when she was the youngest MP, and I just thought how brilliant we could tell this story, and maybe that would excite or ignite people here to think politics isn't in a posh place in London, that actually we can all make a difference, and that how important it is that we're telling this story here where he's from.
Obviously the play is about Nye and Jennie's relationship, but was that your original concept or did it develop while you were writing?
It was the original concept, but I think what's interesting about how things develop is that you've got a man and a woman on stage, they become man and wife, and what happens is that a third personality develops, and that's the personality of the couple together. So it's not as if you've got two people on stage, you've got three different personalities to explore, which I found fascinating, and I found that as the process has gone on, and then we've got actors have become involved, and the director has given notes, that we've found something rather special, what it was that made these two unique as a couple, and I think it's been very interesting exploring that.
Well, thank you to both of you for being here today.
Thank you for taking out your busy schedules to come visit us. Thank you. That's all from us at Centre Stage. Make sure you go see Nye and Jennie from the 15th to the 18th of November at the Metropole Abertillery. See you next week on Centre Stage. Good night.
Goodbye.